Hello and welcome to the session on creativity. Indian philosophy claims that we are all constituents of the supreme power, as the rays of the sun are the constituent part of the creator, the sun. Therefore, every one of us ought to possess the same creative abilities and has these abilities. Some of us are endowed with high creative talents and contribute to advancement in the field of art, literature, science, business, teaching and other spheres of human activity. These people are responsible for propounding new ideas and bringing about social and cultural changes. Human being is exceptionally blessed with the higher level thinking abilities of creativity and problem solving. Such activities require the use of already stored information along with the information concurrently received from the environment. A thorough account of these multi-step processes will be presented in this unit. First of all, we will discuss meaning, aspects and stages of creativity. The most advanced thought process, creativity, involves production of uncommon and novel ideas that are highly relevant to the situation. Meaning and aspects of creativity. Creativity is defined as something different from intelligence and as a parallel construct to intelligence, but it differs from intelligence in that it is not restricted to cognitive or intellectual functioning or behavior. Instead, it is concerned with a complex mix of motivational conditions, personality factors, environmental conditions, chance factors and even products. Creativity is a goal-directed thinking which is unusual, novel and useful. Many of such creative thinking become so important that they influence the whole human civilization and are called as historical creativity. The Mona Lisa, the laws of thermodynamics, the laws of motion and the theory of relativity are some of the ideas that were never thought before and changed the human civilization altogether in a great way in their respective spheres of life. Although we can accept its existence and importance, it has been a highly difficult task for the researchers to define creativity. Newell, Shaw and Simon have explained the nature of creativity on the basis of following four criteria. A. Novelty and usefulness. B. Rejects previously accepted ideas. C. Requires intense motivation and persistence, and D. Results from organizing the unclear situation in a coherent, clear and new way. Sternberg reports 5 commonalities in the research of creativity. These are: creativity involves thinking that aims at producing ideas or products that are relatively novel and that are in some respect compelling. Creativity has some domain specific and domain general elements in the sense that it needs some specific knowledge, but there are certain elements of creativity that cut across different domains. Creativity is measurable, at least to some extent. Creativity can be developed and promoted, and creativity is not highly rewarded in practice as it is supposed to be in theory. Stages of creativity. The history of research on stages of creativity began with Graham Wallas, who suggested that creative thinking follows 4 successive steps. Stage of preparation. The subject begins to gather information about problem to be solved and attempts some solutions. This stage is characterized by a state of trial and error in learning. Therefore, the subject is advised to learn as much as possible about the problem area. In preparation, the thinkers begin recalling personal experiences and investigating in all different directions to gather information about the problem to be solved. The subject of defining the focus question of interest is to list all concepts associated with the focus question. Since the goal from this procedure is to generate the largest possible list, the thinker should not worry about redundancy, relative importance, or relationships at this point. Stage of incubation. In the second stage, the solution exists but is not clear. The subject must not intentionally work on the problem. Instead, it is allowed to sink into the unconscious, and the thinker is advised to relax and reflect on his or her focus question, which might lead him or her to modification of the focus question. Stage of elimination. In the third stage, the subject suddenly experiences insight into the problem when a new solution, idea, or relationship emerges. In other words, the subject attempts to reformulate his or her ideas or to formulate new ones. The subject is more active and more conscious work is needed in this stage. In the stage of elimination, the thinker experiences insight into the problem when a new solution, idea, or relationship emerges. Thus, he or she attempts to reformulate his or her ideas or to formulate new ones. Stage of verification. Finally, the subject tries and checks the solution. In this stage, some modification may also occur to ideas reached in the previous stages. In the stage of verification, the thinker tests, tries and checks the solution he or she created. Since this stage is the final one, the thinker may well make some modification to his or her ideas which he or she reached in the previous stages. In this stage, thinker should rework the structure of his or her map to represent his or her collective understanding of the interrelationships and connections among groupings, which may include adding, subtracting, or changing superordinate concepts. Thus, he or she may need to review his or her concept map as he or she gains new knowledge or new insights. In some situations, the above stages may appear in a different order or combined into 2 or 3 stages. They also do not occur regularly. For example, sometimes a subject's knowledge of the problem area allows him or her to pass over the first stage, that is preparation, and move on to the next stage, that is incubation, or even to the third stage. Nature and characteristics of creativity. Creativity as a unique and novel personal experience, and on the basis of the experiences and findings of the various scholars, may be said to possess the following characteristics. Creativity is universal. Creativity is not confined to any individual, groups of individuals, caste, color, or creed. It is universal and is not bound by the barriers of age, location, or culture. Creativity is innate as well as acquired. Although many research findings and incidents favor the suggestions that creativity is a God-given gift and natural endowment, the influence of cultural background, experiences, education, and training in the nurturing of creativity cannot be ruled out. Creativity produces something new or novel. Creativity denotes the ability of a person to produce something new or novel, but this novelty or newness does not necessarily imply the production of a totally new idea or object which has never been experienced or has never existed before. Creativity is adventurous and open thinking. Creativity is a departure from the stereotyped, rigid and closed thinking. It encourages and demands complete freedom to accept and express the multiplicity of responses, choices and lines of action. Creativity is a means as well as an end in itself. Creativity as an urge inspires and pursues the individual to create something unique and thus acts as an impetus for expression. This creative expression proves to be a source of joy and satisfaction to the creator. Creativity carries ego involvement. There is complete involvement of one's ego in the creative expression. One's individuality and identity are totally merged in one's creation. One's style of functioning, philosophy of life and personality may be clearly reflected in his creation, be it a work of art or a piece of writing, etc. Creativity has a wide scope. Creative expression is not restricted by any limits or boundaries. It covers all fields and activities of human life, in any of which one is able to demonstrate creativity by expressing or producing a new idea or object. Creativity and intelligence do not necessarily go hand in hand. Research findings and observations have demonstrated that there is no positive correlation between creativity and intelligence. One is not the essential or necessary prerequisite of the other. Creativity rests more on divergent thinking than on convergent thinking. Divergent thinking involves a broad scanning operation enabling a person to evolve a general multiple possible solution, and hence it is put into use when one is confronted with a problem which has many possible solutions. Creativity cannot be separated from intelligence. In spite of the fact that intelligence or creativity may function independently and creativity involves more of divergent thinking as opposed to the convergent thinking employed in the demonstration of intelligence, it is not possible to entirely separate creativity from intelligence. Creativity and school achievement are not correlated. No significant correlation has been observed between an individual's creative talent and his school performance. One may be creative but score quite low on achievement tests, and similarly, a topper in school or in the board examination may show little or no creative output. Sociability and creativity are negatively correlated. Creativity requires creative individual to be more sensitive to the demands of a problem than the evaluation of his social environment. The creative individual is more inner than outer oriented. Creativity and anxiety often go together. It has been observed that creative people demonstrates an above average state of anxiety. However, the anxiety of the creative individual is quite different from that of the neurotic individual with a disturbed personality. Creativity and intelligence. In one extreme opinion, creativity and intelligence are regarded as totally independent of each other. Intelligence is not supposed to influence creativity. Creativity is viewed as a mental operation accessible to everyone. It is supposedly dependent on domain-specific knowledge. This position denies not only the influence of intelligence, but of any individual difference beyond knowledge and motivational factors on creativity. Hayes proposed an alternative certification hypothesis which doubted intrinsic links between creativity and intelligence. Instead, it stated that most possibilities to display a recognizable level of creativity, like occupation to architecture or science, simply require a high level of formal education. Since academic performance is correlated with IQ, society simply denies creative individuals of low IQ the chance to express their talent adequately. The creative person. The creativity aspect can also be discussed on the basis of these personality characteristics of the creative people which distinguish them from the non-creative people. A number of researchers have presented different types of personality traits attributed to the creative persons. These studies, along with other personality studies, have brought out the following behavior characteristics or personality traits of a potentially creative individual. 1. Originality of ideas and expression. 2. Adaptability and a sense of adventure. 3. A high degree of awareness, enthusiasm and concentration. 4. Lack of tolerance for boredom, ambiguity and discomfort. 5. Ability to elaborate, to work out the details of an idea or a plan. 6. Enthusiasm for novelty of design and even of solution of problems. 7. peace with one's own self so that he has more time for creative pursuits. 8. Self-respect, self-discipline and a keen sense of justice. 9. Easy nature with a relaxed attitude. 10. Awareness of obligations and responsibilities. 11. Ability to accept tentativeness and to tolerate and integrate the opposites. 12. Patterns of thought different from those of the less creative, particularly during creative activity. 13. Respect for the opinions of other and acceptance of disagreement and opinions different from one's own. 14. Spontaneity and ease of expression, and 15. The capacity to fantasize and daydream. Theories of creativity. A number of theories have been put forward to explain the nature of creativity, how it operates, why some of us show greater creative tendencies and others less. Let us now discuss some of the better known theories. Divine inspiration or God-given gift theory. According to this ancient theory, creativity is a gift from God to the human beings and is not universally distributed. Accordingly, some people get a large share while it is denied to others. An individual can then be creative to the extent to which he is endowed with this divine power. However, this theory of creativity being a gift according to one's luck is quite irrelevant in these days of scientific thinking and understanding, and we must surely look for some other convincing explanation. Theory describing creativity equivalent to insanity. Based on historical evidence and their own observations, some authors and scholars like Lombroso have concluded that creativity and insanity go hand in hand. An insane person lives in his own world. His thinking, feelings and actions are concentrated and around his own interests and intentions. The states of mind of highly creative persons are somewhat similar, and their behavior may be considered quite abnormal and even insane. However, these findings are not based on objective and empirical studies. Certainly, no definite correlation has so far been established between insanity and creativity. The creative individual may seem to be far from normal because of his constant absorption in his creative pursuits, but that does not mean he is mentally abnormal or that his creative striving can be taken as signs of madness. Theory describing creativity as native or inborn. According to another viewpoint, creativity is regarded as something native, an innate or inborn trait, a special mental power or unique cognitive ability that cannot be acquired by learning or training. Thus, according to this theory, creative people are born and not made. One may have a special inborn sensitivity to sound, another may have extremely sensitive vocal cords, senses of touch, sight or smell to enable him to be highly talented or creative in any of these spheres. One may have been born with extraordinary intuitive power for a sudden or quick grasp of new things or phenomena in any field, or a fine imagination and insight for discovering new things like scientists James Watt, Newton, Einstein, or mathematicians Gauss and Ramanujan. Theory of environmentally acquired creativity. According to this viewpoint, creativity is not only the result of one's hereditary inborn capacity of God's gift, it is acquired and nurtured like other human traits. A positive environment or situation that is open, democratic and free may be said to contribute positively to the release and development of creative potential. On the other hand, a closed society, culture or situation may act as a strong deterrent to the development of initiative within the individual. Arete proposed the concept of creativogenic society to emphasize the influence of culture and environment on the development of creativity. According to him, the creativogenic society or environment is distinguished by its lack of emphasis on immediate gratification, its tolerance for and interest in divergent points of view and its use of incentives and rewards for creativity. As a result of such favorable environment, creativity may get full nourishment and creative people build up. Hence, it is the environment, favorable or detrimental, which is responsible for making one creative or non-creative. Taylor's level theory of creativity. According to the level theory enunciated by L. A. Taylor, creativity may be described as existing at 5 levels in an ascending hierarchy. A person is said to be creative to the extent that he is able to reach these levels. The 5 levels are the following. Expressive creativity. This stands for spontaneous expression without reference to originality and quality of the product. Productive creativity. At this level, a person is able to produce something innovative. Inventive creativity. This level is marked by the presence of ingenuity with a clear emphasis on novel use of old things. Innovative creativity. At this level, one is able to develop new ideas or principles with the help of highly developed abstract conceptualizing skills. And imaginative creativity. This fifth and highest level of creativity is rarely achieved. The most abstract ideational principles or assumptions underlying a body of art or science are made use of at this level of creation. Hemisphere theory of creativity. According to this theory, creative acts are said to be the result of interaction between the 2 hemispheres of the individual's brain. It gives quite a predominant biological base to the upsurge and functioning of creativity. The researchers into hemisphere functioning of Clark and Kitano and Kirby have demonstrated that creative individuals are usually right hemisphere dominant, while logical, rational thinkers are left hemisphere dominant. Psychoanalytical theory of creativity. The school of psychoanalysis considers creativity as a means and product of one's emotional purging, an opportunity for sublimation and catharsis. Freud, the father of the school, considers the creations of the creators as nothing but attempts for the expression of their repressed desires, mostly sexual in nature. Accordingly, most creative works of art, particularly ones portraying beautiful figures of men and women, can be interpreted by Freudians or expressions of repressed sexual desires. Similarly, the compositions of many writers and poets like Tulsidas, Mirabai, Ruskin, etc. would be viewed by them as attempts at sublimation, that is, diversion of libidinal energy into socially desirable and personally gratifying channels. Besides the role of libidinal or sexual energy, the unconscious was also described by the Freudians to play a significant role in one's creative expression and output. A somewhat different approach was adopted by the later psychoanalysts like Chris, Kubi and Jung for explaining creative expression. They opposed the unconscious seated and sex dominated approach of Freud and advocated the use of preconscious rather than unconscious mental mechanism in the creative art. Going further, Jung, through his analytic or depth psychology, brought out the concept of the collective unconscious, according to which animation of the collective unconscious, the archetypes, explains the mechanism of the creative process. However, the views of these psychoanalysts have been under constant attack, chiefly on account of their being overgeneralized, their sole dependence on unconscious motivation and early conflicts for explaining all types of human behavior, including creative acts. Areti's theory of creativity. The theory of Areti represents the contemporary views about the nature and meaning of the terms creativity, the creative process and creative output. The major theoretical notions underlying this theory are as follows. 1. Creativity and mental illness are parallel to one another in that both involve the transformation of reality. The distinction between them is that while creative people aim to change reality for broader and more useful social purposes and self-actualization, psychotics want to transform reality within the framework of their private world regardless of serving any useful purpose of their self or society. 2. To say that a creative person is mentally ill is quite incorrect. He is, in fact, a person who enjoys good mental health, which energizes his cognitive abilities to create something unique or novel. 3. The creative process is a magic synthesis of the two modalities, the primary process and the secondary process, and may thereby be termed the tertiary process. From the foregoing theories of creativity, it seems that none of them provides a complete picture. Each one of them takes its own stand for explaining creativity either through the process approach or the product approach, and hence each perception is, as Clarke observes, only a fragment of the total. It is only through a holistic view, by the integration of the various divergent views of the different theories, that a meaningful picture of creativity may emerge. Let me summarize the session. Creativity as a unique characteristics of the human mind may be defined as the capacity of an individual to create or produce an entirely new or novel idea or object, or by the rearrangement or shaping of what is already known. It is both innate as well as acquired, and a process as well as product. It is also characterized by qualities like universality, adventurousness and open-mindedness, a craving for change and novelty, ego involvement and divergent thinking. The commonly employed stages of creativity are 4, namely preparation, incubation, illumination and verification. It does not necessarily have a positive correlation with school achievement and intelligence. It does, however, show positive correlation with anxiety and negative correlation with sociability. Various theories have been put forward for explaining the mechanism of creativity. The theory considering creativity as a God-given gift and the theory of insanity advocating positive correlation between insanity and creativity have been rejected outright. Similarly, theories describing creativity as being either inborn or an environmentally acquired characteristic are not accepted as exclusive of each other. Now, we can try to answer the questions given here. Define and describe the process of creativity. Briefly discuss the stages of creativity. Describe the different theories which explain creativity. Explain the important characteristics of creativity. Describe how creativity is related with intelligence. Hope that you may go through the reference books given here. Creativity, the Magic Synthesis by S. Arati, Basic Books, New York, in the year 1976. Creativity and Intelligence by J. W. Geisels and P. W. Jackson, John Wiley, New York, in the year 1962. Creativity, Theories and Themes, Research, Development and Practice by M. A. Renko, Elsewhere, Amsterdam, in the year 2007. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Till then, take care.